Now let's speak to our guest to analyse what's been announced today. Dr. Stephen Nolan is a lecturer in economics at Liverpool John Moores University. First of all, thank you for being with us, Dr. Nolan.
No problem, Helen.
Just to start then, the big announcement that was trailed heavily this morning is the cut in national insurance payments. It's coming down by 2p, which means the main rate is falling from 10% to 8%. Is that going to be enough to help families who are struggling with the cost of living?
I mean, honestly, I don't really think it will. It's especially for people on lower income. The actual cost is going to be fairly small beer. I mean, we're not talking about more than about £300, £400 a year for someone around about 40,000 pounds of income. So, I mean, you stretch that out, it's really not going to make a massive amount of difference.
Who will benefit most from that cut, do you think? The government say the average worker will save £449 a year, but the Resolution Foundation says that those earning less than £27,000 will be worse off because income tax is being kept at its current level. Is it true to say that lower earners will be worse off?
On the whole, yes, fundamentally, because what was announced today was a tax cut in terms of the national insurance. So on every pound that you earn over £12,500, £2, like you're paying 2p less in tax. But that £12,500, that threshold has been frozen for a couple of years and is predicted to be frozen, written into law to be frozen until 2029. And that basically means as our wages goes up, more and more of it is drawn into tax. So overall, people are spending more, are paying more in tax than they were, especially at the lower end of the distribution.
And just to add, for some Conservatives who wanted the Chancellor to cut income tax or raise the threshold for income tax, why has Jeremy Hunt decided to focus on national insurance instead, do you think? Is it because it costs the government less, or is it about trying to get more people back into work?
I think it's a little bit of both. Yes, because national insurance is only levied on people who work, whereas income tax is levied on everyone. So pensioners don't pay national insurance. So the idea is, the incentive is, if you're getting to keep more of your wages, you're more likely to work extra hours, or you're more likely to get into work. And so, some of the predictions from the Office for Budget Responsibility in their report that goes with it predicts that this will increase activity into work.
The Chancellor also announced that the threshold for parents to claim child benefit is going up from £50,000 to £60,000 a year. What will make a big difference to many families, do you think, with this?
I think this will make a big difference for people earning at that level, which is fairly high up. And so these are fairly high earners within our economy. But because that threshold, it really meant that the kind of benefits of taking pay increases above £50,000, even though it was tapered off, was kind of not as much of an incentive. And you heard a lot of anecdotal evidence that people actually asking their employers to pay them less in order to not lose out on the tax benefit. It's a real kind of distortion of the tax system having things like this. You were seeing people with kind of effective tax rates in the 50 and 60%. So in terms of simplifying the tax system, it definitely makes a lot of sense. But it is a benefit to people who are on whole fairly well off.
And locally, Mr Hunt confirmed that the pharmaceutical company AstraZeneca is to spend £450 million on a new facility in Speke in Liverpool to develop and manufacture vaccines. Dr. Nolan, how much of a boost can this be to the city and for the whole overall regional economy?
Well, I mean, it can't hurt, that's for sure. I mean, it's a big level of investment and it's a big level of jobs. And if it's focused within the regional economy, increased jobs means people with more income, they're spending more money, hopefully spending it locally, and that can have a kind of a glorious holistic effect on the local economy. So it's definitely positive news for Liverpool that AstraZeneca decided to invest here.
And has the Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, been able to offer as much as he would have wanted, do you think, given that the economy fell into recession at the end of last year? How much has the Chancellor had to resist the urge to make more tax cuts?
there's definitely a political urge on some in his party for him to do that, but he's wedded to the fiscal rules that he set, and like now these fiscal rules are fairly arcane and can seem a little weird, and he's come up to the limits of them. But I don't know if this will be the end of it. I very much got the sense that like this was part one of a two-part fiscal statement. I think we will see an autumn statement later in the year where there probably will be more kind of tax cuts.
Going to leave it there, but many thanks for your time. That is Dr. Stephen Nolan, lecturer in economics at Liverpool's John Moore University.